Meeting. I called to order today's Plan Commission meeting on May 15th, 2024. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Schenk? Commissioner Flores? Here. Commissioner Wright?
Here.
Commissioner Patel?
Here.
Commissioner Palmer?
Here.
Chair Ali?
Here. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from April 2024 meeting?
Motion?
Second.
Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wright. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Thank you. May I have a motion to open the public hearing for special use permit for a planned development with variances, final development plan, and final plat of subdivision, Primrose School, southeast corner of Weber and Bradford Place. Applicant Matt Taylor from Primrose Schools, project number 400.24. Motion.
Motion?
Second.
Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Wright. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Flores? Yes. Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Patel?
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer?
Yes.
Chair Ali?
Yes. Mr. Schmidt, you have the floor.
Thank you. The petitioner is before you tonight to request approval of a special use permit for a planned development with variances, final development plan, and final plat of subdivision in order to allow a daycare facility at the southeast corner of Weber Road and Bradford Place. The subject site is approximately 4.06 acres in size and is zoned B2 community retail, is currently vacant. Ordinance 14-022 waived the requirement to bury overhead utility lines directly adjacent to this parcel along Weber Road, and therefore grounding of these lines will not be required with the proposed development of this parcel. Per the site plan, access to the site would be provided via two driveways, a right-in, right-out driveway on northbound Weber Road, and a two-way driveway off of Bradford Place. Bradford Place offers access to the signalized intersection at Weber Road, providing full access to and from the site onto Weber Road. Public improvements, specifically the public trail within the existing parkway area along Weber Road and Bradford Place, would remain unaltered as part of any site improvements, with the exception of the installation of the two driveways. To improve safety at the proposed driveways, the existing trails will be improved with stop signage, alerting cyclists and pedestrians to halt and check for traffic prior to crossing. Staff notes that there will be excellent visibility at these crossings from the roadway, and vehicles accessing the site will have no issue seeing approaching cyclists and pedestrians. Per the site plan, the applicant is proposing construction of an approximately 13,524 square foot Primrose School daycare facility with a fenced exterior playground on the north side of the building. The applicant is proposing to provide 54 parking stalls, which meets code requirements. There is no drop-off lane proposed. Individuals dropping off children will be required to park their vehicles and walk children into the facility. The same action will be needed when picking up children. Per the applicant, all required perimeter landscaping, including an irrigation system along Weber Road, would be installed per zoning ordinance requirements. Due to the nature of the daycare structure, which requires fire exit doors from each classroom, the petitioner is requesting a variation to reduce the 10-foot wide foundation planting bed along the west side of the building to 3 feet. Staff supports this request, provided that the required number of landscape units be provided elsewhere on the site. Per the applicant, Primrose School will provide care to children between the ages of 6 weeks to 5 years old. The facility has the capacity to accommodate up to 198 children and will employ up to 26 persons. The hours of operation would be from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. Drop-off and pickup of children will be permitted any time during the day, but Primrose anticipates that peak drop-off times will be between 7 o'clock a.m. and 9 o'clock a.m., and peak pickup times will be between 3:30 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Given the requirement to park prior to drop-off or pickup and the staggered times at which drop-offs and pickups will occur, staff does not anticipate that the school will generate significant amounts of traffic. Additionally, the petitioner has provided the village with a traffic study which demonstrated that the impact on adjacent roadways will be negligible. Staff notes that a daycare is fitting with the residential character of the area and is less intensive than other permitted land uses on the site, such as a grocery store, pharmacy, or hardware store. The petitioner is proposing to subdivide the lot. The southern parcel, Lot 2, will be 2.52 acres in size and will be developed with the proposed Primrose School. The northern parcel, Lot 1, would be 1.53 acres in size and would be offered for future development. Newly dedicated easements for utilities and cross-access would be provided prior to recording. To develop the property in accordance with the site plan, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow a planned development, Primrose School. Daycare facilities are not expressly permitted within the B2 zoning district and as such require a special use permit for a planned development. Staff supports the applicant's request, recognizing that the staggered drop-off and pickup times result in a relatively low-intensity development that will not adversely impact traffic or safety in the immediate vicinity. Additionally, the petitioner will be installing additional safety measures on the adjacent trail where it crosses roadways. The petitioner is also requesting the aforementioned variance to reduce the 10-foot wide foundation planting bed along the west side of the building to 3 feet. Chapter 54, Section 54-577 requires a 10-foot wide planting bed. In recognition of the reference limitations and the provision of the required number of plantings, staff supports this variation request. Staff recommends approval of the special use permit for a planned development with the special use for Primrose School and the variance to reduce the planting bed with one condition, that being that the remainder of staff's comments from memo sent on 4/19/24 and 4/24 be addressed. This concludes my presentation. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. So from my understanding, we're seeing the entrance, there's a pork chop going northbound on Weber, correct?
Correct.
And the second entrance is on Bradford,
Correct.
and that's left or right? Both
Correct.
ways, correct?
Both ways.
And there is a light on Hassard or Bradford and Weber,
Correct.
correct? And the entrance for the residential Bradford Place, right east of this proposed daycare facility or school, they have their own entrance?
The entrance to the subdivision is the main road. The driveway into Primrose School is separate and connecting onto
separate.
Bradford.
Okay, so they're not sharing that entrance?
No, they're, except for Bradford, which both would utilize.
Okay. Very good. And the hours of operation are just Monday through Friday?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. I don't have any further questions. Anything from the commissioners? Thank you. Hearing no further questions,
There will be questions for you, the public.
do we have any questions from the audience? Please come on up. Sign in, please.
There's a sheet.
Yeah, there should be a sign-in sheet.
You gotta excuse me, this is my first time
No
coming.
worries.
And I live at 505 Bradford Place,
Just
right
raise your
there.
right hand first.
Oh, I'm sorry,
You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
yes,
Okay, your name, sir?
Greg Matthews,
Welcome, sir.
all right.
Would it help if we brought up an aerial? Is that helpful? An aerial photo on the screen?
Yeah, that would help
Can
out,
you do
yeah.
that?
Mind if I grab the keyboard there? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you wanna just point out where
Yeah,
we're
I'm right here, 505 Bradford Place.
Okay.
And I see another neighbor here too, and we're gonna be looking exactly at the proposed daycare center. And I need to know where would the streets line up at as far as in and out on the Bradford Place side. Are we lined right up with the Taylor Court Street, or are we, do you have any idea?
It would be a little bit east, so the driveway comes in approximately here.
So that makes headlights shining right into my property, cause I'm looking this way. So I don't think that's fair for me to be looking at headlights, in the morning, whenever they drop off, or even in the evening. And right now, you probably don't get that because it's summertime, but wintertime, you know, I'm gonna be looking right at it now. My driveway is this way, and we have Chuck lives here. So I just wanted to know, if you're talking that this is gonna be a little bit this way, then you're gonna be looking, I'm gonna be looking dead at the headlights. Any remedy?
Well, as far as the exit goes there, I mean, the hours of operation are early in the morning. We understand your concern with headlights. But the use for this parcel, sir, I think it's a favorable use due to the fact that, would you rather see a Taco Bell there?
No, I agree that the daycare center, you know, that sounds great, you know, instead of a gas station or something like that, but I was just concerned about some of the things that's gonna go on, you know, while at that particular time. That's in and out 24 hours a day, not 24 hours, but just on the, you know, no weekends, and that's great to hear. But, you know, that's what I'm concerned about. We got numerous U-turns going on right here, as it is. And that's all day long, maybe 10, 20 cars a day make U-turns right here. And I'm looking right at them because I'm right here, so. That's another concern. There's not really any police presence nowhere along here. We listen to a lot of noise from here, people going this way. The cars are wide open going this way. And I'm just concerned about some of the things here, because I'm the only one that's really facing this besides Chuck. This house facing towards Taylor Street. So I'm concerned about that.
Well, I can assure you that the applicant has submitted a traffic study, and we have studied that. And at this point, it doesn't call for any major issues as far as traffic goes. And as far as people making U-turns and, you know, so forth, I'm sure the Bolingbrook Police Department will keep an eye on that. And if it becomes an issue, it will be addressed, sir.
I mean, that's good to hear, but they're not keeping an eye on it right now, so what, you know, I guess it's gonna be more of a presence, being that this, proposed daycare is gonna be right here. Is this gonna take up the entire lot? Is it just gonna be here, and then some else here, or?
No, I believe
This
the
is something
parcel is
that,
to
you
the
know.
south. There's another parcel to the north, right along Bradford Place that will be vacant.
Yeah, so the daycare is proposed at the furthest southern portion of the property, so that 2.5 acres to the south there. And then the 1.5 acres that's left would be remained undeveloped. But I think part of the plan also obviously shows a pretty extensive landscape plan. So they're installing landscaping all the way along Weber Road, along the proposed daycare, obviously, and around the daycare, and then all between Bella Vista and their property as well. So I don't know I think that does a good job to help screen a lot of this from the visual side of it. I know you mentioned your neighbor lives to the right of you. Does he experience a lot of problems with the cars coming out of Bella Vista in terms of their headlights
Yeah,
that
well, you
shine?
do, right, because his house lines right up with
Right.
this street, so it's shining into his house all the time. I'm not sure what, you know, he says about that, but you know, that's something that I noticed myself. I wouldn't want to live here, but I'm just saying, you know, as far as this is concerned, then you're saying that the proposed, daycare is gonna be more so on this end of
Do you want
of
to
the
pull up
lot,
the site
so
plan? Yeah.
something else can actually go right here.
We'll show you the site plan, sir. Mr. Schmidt will show you the site
Yeah, I
plan.
mean, it's a 4-acre commercial parcel, so it's a good sized piece of land. And so yes, there would be something in the future on that northern parcel. So if you
Right.
turn that,
Bradford is
yeah.
on this side.
Yeah.
So if you look at about 60/40, the daycare would be on the southern side. This is all landscaping along this edge. This is all perimeter landscaping.
I'm sorry.
Street runs parallel with Weber.
Weber,
Right.
and then the one off Grant is behind, because if I understand this right, Matt, and I don't know if I'm,
No, you're okay. Go ahead.
I'm out of order.
You probably, yeah, we'll have to swear you in.
Okay.
So it's
So
gonna be a
just,
lot,
yeah.
it's gonna be a lot of traffic here because you cannot come off of Weber if you're coming from the north end here. When you come down, I hope I'm looking at this right.
Your house is right where your finger is. Yep.
Okay, so I'm here.
No, across the street.
Across the street.
Like literally where your hand is, that's where the residential is. So where it says, go ahead.
Okay, so, yeah, well, that makes
Yeah,
Ernestine here,
you're around here, yes. This,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here, this plan might. So here's the daycare and here's your home right here. Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about a lot of traffic coming from north on Weber to turn here, to turn in here.
Correct.
Yes, traffic coming south on Weber would turn into
So
Bradford
what,
Place.
you know, what does this do for my property value? Cause I pay a lot of taxes on this corner right here. And, you know, I don't know how much anybody else pays, but I know I pay enough. Taxes just went up. And so I'm concerned about the traffic in this area at that time.
I think that's why the traffic study was done though, to alleviate those concerns. So I think, I don't know, Tom,
Well,
if you
nobody
want
came, you know, to me and asked me about traffic, cause I'm looking at this, I live here. So I don't know who's, you know, who this study comes from. You know, I can sit out here all day and watch a street and say everything is cool. But if you live there, it's a different story.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying. So, you know, those are things I'm concerned about, the dust, you know, everything. So I knew something had to go there sooner or later. And I'm glad that it's more so a daycare than a, you know, whatever. But those are my concerns of this, one of the things. Are we, you know, like, is this set in stone already or what?
They'll be voting on it tonight.
Okay.
And then it goes to the village board after that.
If I could, location of driveway, you know, it's not a very deep lot, and with cars pulling off Weber Road at a pretty high rate of speed, you know, you can't have the driveway too close to Weber Road, otherwise you'd have, you know, rear end accidents there. And also, if there's a couple of cars at the traffic signal at Weber, you know, waiting to turn right, left, or go straight onto Weber, you want the driveway far enough back so that cars can pull out and get into the end of the queue. So, you know, the location of the driveway is really pretty much dictated by those things. There's not really a whole lot of choice on a good spot for the driveway. It does unfortunately put it across the street from Mr. Matthews' house.
Well, that's me, Mr. Matthews. So, what is that gonna do for the trail that you guys have built here, that people use all the time walking around here? And it's a bike trail / walking trail. Are you gonna just go across that, or
Yeah,
is
the-
that still gonna be there?
The bike trail will remain in place. There'll be graded crossings at the driveways with signage. So the bike trail will remain in place, can still be accessed and used.
Right. The trail is, you know, owned, operated by the Park District. They saw the plans. They actually had a couple of comments about some additional signage on the trail that is being added to the plan based on recent legislation. And so with the addition of those signs, they're okay with the project.
And you said that there's gonna be a nice landscaping around on this side of the building, you're thinking?
Yes.
Yes, all the way across.
Does that put the landscaping on that side where he lives? Is that gonna hinder people driving out from the driveway, taking their kids out of the,
townhouse
Yeah,
section?
out of where the
Yeah.
daycare is that gonna obstruct the view? Because you have merging into Bradford, which is a two-lane street.
Wait. So you'll have to come in and,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
yes, please.
Okay, fine. No. You can stay. You can stay if you want to say something else. No.
Please sign in.
My name is Mike Holman, and I live in the Bella Vista subdivision.
Swear him in.
You sort of tell the truth at this public hearing?
Yes,
Please.
I do. Okay. When you said there was landscaping, that's here, right? Okay, now you're gonna pull up here to come out this driveway, and there's landscaping over here too, that we have for the Bella Vista subdivision. Okay? Is that gonna obstruct people coming out, going either way?
No.
No, the first, as far as the plan goes, the first, whatever kind of landscaping bush or evergreen, what they have, is a little far behind, so they'll be able to see if somebody's coming down, coming west on Bradford.
Other than
How about
parkway
coming
trees,
from the east
it's all behind the bike
Bradford?
trail.
Same here.
Other
Same
than
there,
parkway
because the
trees?
bushes are a little
Hold on,
set
Mayor,
back.
Let staff answer.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Tom.
Other than
Well,
parkway
this-
trees, all the landscaping is gonna be behind the bike path. So you'll have that entire, parkway and bike path, they'll be, clear so you can see.
Okay. Are there any ordinances about the fact that Bradford being a two-lane street, you're gonna have this, Taylor Court and Bella Vista, feeding into that area that's only from maybe 400 feet from here to here?
So that's a lot of traffic right there.
It's a lot of streets going into I assume Bradford is a minor street?
Yeah,
Okay.
Bradford does widen as you approach Weber, so you have separate left turn lane and then a right and through, and then an inbound, so, 3 lanes wide at Weber. And, the amount of, to get an idea on how much traffic, this would generate, I went and observed another daycare in town that's about the same size. And what you'll see is, a couple cars pull in, drop their kids off as they're leaving, a couple other cars are pulling in. At any one time, there's never more than like one car waiting to, it's on Boughton Road in that case, pull out onto Boughton. It's not like a school, elementary school that gets out and, 500 kids all try and go home at the same time, or a theater or a church service where 100, 200 people all try to leave at the same time. It's gonna be 1 or 2 per minute.
Is that daycare or residential?
You'll have to answer a question when we swear you in. Sorry.
Hey, sorry.
So, the amount of cars pulling on in Bradford, for each cycle, the traffic signal might be, 1 to 2 vehicles. It's just
When
not
the
a
kids
lot.
are getting dropped off, Tom, also, they actually have to be walked into the school. It's not like you just pull in like a drive-through and drop them off and walk away like in schools. They actually have to park the car, take the kid inside, and then leave. So that kind of, offsets the traffic concern that you have.
I'm more concerned of the safety of those people that are gonna be going to the school. You're talking about young kids in these cars that, that are going into this on Bradford, and all the people going to work in the morning, over to Veterans, also all the warehouses over there, and then in the evening, coming back this way, when they're coming out of there, so this traffic, this has always been a thoroughfare. And I don't know if all of you are aware of it, but this is a private street.
Oh, we're aware.
We are.
Okay,
We've been to many meetings with Bella Vista.
that's fine. You're aware of it, but what I'm saying is, I'm concerned about the safety of these kids. They're 5 years old and younger. And you're gonna put all that traffic back on here again. And due to the fact that this is a private street, you're relying on us, the Bella Vista Homeowners Association, to assume the responsibility, for example, to remove snow. Well, we have to hire a private contractor. So that creates a situation that our contractor may not be there for 4 or 5 hours to take that snow away. But if you were the responsibility of the village,
What
maybe
does that have to
create a
do
little
with what
bit
we're
better
talking about?
safety in
I'm
there.
very confused right now. We're trying to ingest Bella Vista into the discussion. That's not even part of what we're talking about.
That's a whole separate
But
drive.
it is.
No, it's not. They're gonna
That's it.
turn prior to Bella Vista Boulevard and enter they can only have one point of access. Weber Road is restricted by the county, so we cannot have any more points of access than that right in, right out. You have to allow someone to develop the property, and then you have to provide access. You cannot deny access. So at some point, they need to connect to that street. I can't not allow access to a property that's privately owned and zoned commercial. I cannot deny them access. So there is no other option. They do have to tie into that street. I don't understand what snow removal has to do with any of these discussions.
Okay. That's the way you see it.
It would be nice if, well, just like you actually just answered a couple of questions, it would be nice if we didn't have to deal with none of this traffic here on Bradford Place and everything can come in here, but you don't have no kind of access, especially coming from the north end here because this is blocked off street.
Right, the
And-
county won't allow a curb cut within 500 feet of that intersection. So you can see it on the other side of the street, when that development took place, it would match that. They wouldn't allow them any closer than 500 feet to the intersection.
Do this supposed to complement this, the Bella Vista and the houses here, or, do you know how this place is gonna be designed or anything like that?
We have renderings that we can display. If you would, Mr. Schmidt?
That's a proposal? Is this brick or was this a siding or what is it?
I think at this point, we should probably let the applicant come up and provide you some direct information about how they design these schools. This is not a one-off. Primrose is a very large company. So I think at some point, you guys should maybe come up and speak on behalf of the school.
Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm Matt Taylor with Primrose. I'm just
Sir,
signing
if you will.
here.
If you swear to tell the truth in this public hearing.
Yes.
Your name, sir?
Matthew Taylor.
And Mr. Taylor, please proceed.
I'm just, before I forget to write my name here. So one thing I'd like to just point out, we had this discussion about traffic, and this site actually works very well for us, mainly because we've got 2 points of access, right in, right out on Weber. The going to work side, which, is a term we use when people, are leaving their home and going to work, is that right in and right out. So most of the traffic in the morning, probably gonna hit there on the way in, and potentially the roads you're discussing on the way out, but it's pretty staggered. Our pickup and drop off happens over about a 3-hour period. And as the village engineer, pointed out, it's not a lot at the same time. And we try to design these sites where we've got about 8 to 10 parking spaces dedicated for pickup and drop off. And it takes about 8 to 10 minutes for a parent to bring their child in, get back in their car and leave. So it's pretty staggered, and it's not at all like an elementary school like was mentioned here. As a matter of fact, the village requires a great deal more parking than what we would typically need. So I'm very comfortable that we're gonna have plenty of stacking room and plenty of room for cars to be there and a safe environment for parents and kids. I don't develop a site that I don't feel is safe. I think this is extremely safe from that perspective. A little bit on Primrose. We have about 540 schools across the country. We have 8 to 10 in like the greater Chicagoland area. We are developing some more. I have another project I'm working on in North Naperville. You know, we are a premier provider of childcare. Our operations are, you know, very safe, and, you know, we take pride in that. Do you want me to go into the architecture as
Please.
well? Okay. So the way this building is designed, it's fairly low, you know, in stature. It's about 16 feet to the top of the roof line. And the front entryway is where this cupola is, and this large area is where you come in.
Do you want to just grab that microphone?
Oh, sure.
Sorry, it'll help.
Yeah, no problem. I'm usually accused of being too loud.
No, you're good.
Okay, now I have to keep it like that. Anyhow, it's a long, single-level building. These are metal awnings. It's a board and batten sort of design that fits in architecture. I did drive around your neighborhoods today because I wanted to get a read on what things look like and how we would really blend into the neighborhood. And I think the building with the landscape we have is going to blend in pretty nicely with everything around it. Especially when you look at the retail stuff that's on the other side of the street. I think this is going to be pretty benign compared to what is around it. It's about 13,000 square feet. We try to make them residential looking in general. We talked about hours of operation. It's a 5-day-a-week operation. There's no weekends, typically no holidays. So it's a nice use to be around from a residential standpoint. Is there anything specifically I could answer for anyone or any of the board members?
We'll have to come up and.
Well, any of the board members that I could clarify anything with?
You mentioned it's not a brick building. Is it a brick building?
It is not, no. I am well aware, though, that you have a local ordinance related to non-combustible construction, which I've been talking to my architects about, and they've actually been in contact with the fire marshal. So we may have to swap up a few of these things, but it'll look very similar in design.
Very good.
So, I mean, it sounds like it looked more like a barn or something like that.
Well, I'm not sure I'd call it a barn, but I mean, it's sort of a current style of architecture. Again, what we call board and batten. So there's wider panels that have smaller pieces applied to the outside. You know, it's really a sort of craftsman style design is what I could point to.
This setup right here, is this, you got this turned this way, or is it two entrances, one down there, one down here, or what?
No.
How's that?
It's just, you're looking at the proposed elevations, they're flipped 180 degrees. This is one side, this is the other side. There's one entrance to the building, the rest of the building is fully secure. So we don't want any ability for someone to come into the building not in a controlled access, and that's all right in the front here.
Where's the playground gonna be?
But to go back to the site plan, just gonna do this, right? So these areas that surround the building, you see all this landscaping. The playground is back here. So it's as far away from you as it possibly could be from Bradford Place up here. It's staggered with kids in the play area at different times of the day. There's another play area here as well. But if you look at the landscaping, it's pretty significant. There's really no more than 15 to 20 children out at a time. So there's not really a noise issue. But you're going to have a very tough time even seeing it once these trees mature.
And trees are gonna be, like, in here?
Well, you can see on the
Would it be-
see the border of where this other gentleman lives. That is going to be significantly landscaped. This drive aisle that comes in is going to have street trees and also trees along it. And the plantings along the perimeter of the foundation are pretty significant. You're not going to see much of the building when it's all said and done.
Now, do you know if that street is gonna line up with my house any kind of way, like coming out from
I think we,
facility here? You
Well, I
know,
thi-
right where Taylor Street is at?
yeah, I would defer to my engineer.
See, that's gonna be kinda, I mean, you got a street here, then you got one staggered here, and then
It's
you got
not
another street
exactly
right there.
around, in front of your street, as from what we're seeing on the site plan. It's not exactly in front of your street. It's a little offset.
So,
Why is this so confusing?
okay, so,
You can just sign in, sir.
Yep,
Do you sort of tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do. Matt Whistler with RTM Engineering Consultants. So I think the best view is if we take it back, I think this one. This one here, and we're looking north, so it's a little clearer picture. So the building's roughly here, your playground here, and then since Weber Road is restricted, traffic can come in and out. So a lot of traffic heading this way. Anybody who needs to go south on Weber is gonna exit approximately right here at the A in Bradford. And as the village engineer mentioned, we can't place this driveway too close to Weber. Because you've got traffic coming off of Weber, and if we're too close, you can't see people turning out. So that's a collision issue. So from a traffic engineering standpoint, we have to put the driveway as far away as possible. And we are limited by the back property line here. So it's as far east as we can push it and maintain safety. So it's, there's the driveway line.
So you're gonna be like lined up with my house pretty much, because.
It's mainly lined up with your driveway, but yeah, it is
Well,
clipping
my
the house.
driveway's over here on the side.
Right, so here's where the cars will be facing, kind of in a northwesterly.
So so you're taking out, so if you got this street right here, that's not far from this street. So you're gonna have another street that comes in right here, and then the people from Bella Vista is gonna be coming out here. And you think there's enough space for that?
It is, yeah, and the most important maneuver is the high speeds coming, not high speeds, with the quicker speed coming off of Weber. This is a controlled stop where you stop and exit, hit a stop sign and exit, where this is, people entering freely onto Bradford. So it's a much safer situation to have the driveway as far east as possible.
So coming out of Taylor Street, you're gonna have to be looking here and here, because that's gonna be kind of tough, because we got a lot of retired people who stay up in here, and just the view that is gonna be tough, man.
Forget the retired people, we got the Mazda cars that go on Weber.
Is there a reason why the entrance and exit from this lot here where the daycare is going to be is not straight in line with Taylor Court? Was there a reason why?
Yes, the engineer just explained that. Matt, can you explain that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's primarily to provide maximum distance from Weber Road. If the lot was another 100 feet or so, that, we could keep pushing, but we are limited by what was subdivided with the remaining outlot here.
Okay, very good. Are there any further questions?
Just have them come up at one at a time.
Please come on up to the podium, sign in.
No problem.
Hi, my name is Chris Steimer.
You swear to tell the truth at this public hearing?
I do.
Perfect. Your name, ma'am?
My name is Chris Steimer. I live at 14 Taylor Court. I'll go ahead and sign in here. Thank you for your answers. I did answer some of my questions that I had. And, all in all, I think that having a daycare/school in that area is a very desirable development there. But I do have some concerns about the driveway going in off of Bradford Place. I think the gentleman down there, sorry, I don't know your name, said that it was opened up to 3 lanes as Bradford Place, near Weber. And it does, as you are going out to Weber. But as you're coming in from the west, traveling east, it's 1 lane. There's 1 lane there. And cars do come around that corner very fast. And cars come, where's my step here? Cars come around this bend kind of fast as well. So, I really see this as a problem because as a resident of Taylor Court, I think it's dangerous for the residents of Taylor Court because if you said there could be a rear end accident there, emergency vehicles come, they're on the scene. There is no other way in and out of Taylor Court. if something happened, if there was an accident there at this driveway, an emergency, during that time, if an emergency vehicle was needed on Taylor Court, it could not get to us. That's my only concern here. I think that Bradford there is a small street. It's one lane in there. Yes, it does open up right at the intersection so that there's actually two lanes going out, one lane going straight and one to the left. But usually if people pull up and there's not too much traffic, you can turn right. But there's really only two lanes there, one coming in. And if there was an accident there, the residents on Taylor Court would be blocked. We would be trapped. And that is my concern there, the big concern. You know, and it's just, it is a residential area. I'm not sure where you did your other studies, if there was so many houses so close, so many residents. And traffic, like I said, not only the traffic coming in and off of Weber, traffic coming straight from Hassard, but, you know, here in Bella Vista, you know, and coming around this area as well. Lots of kids, you know, that are waiting for a bus here too, to get to, you know, the regular elementary schools and high school, junior high schools too.
And a park.
And a park there as well. So, thank you for letting me have my time to speak, but, you know, I think that this is something that really needs to be considered. I think that, you know, and I understand, you know, my neighbors, you know, that they, you know, are in Bella Vista and right on Bradford, but I think the ones that are really at risk here are the residents of Taylor Court. And that's who I wanted to speak for.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
With the bad leg, with a good leg. Hi, my name is Cindy Zacharias.
You sort of tell the truth at this public hearing?
Yes, I do.
Your name, ma'am?
Signed Cindy Zacharias. I mirror some of her concerns. We've had some really bad accidents right on Weber and Bradford where emergency vehicles have blocked everything where they could not get in on Taylor. My other concern is we have a park there. We do not have a parking lot for our park, so people park for that park, which is Bradford Park, on Bradford Place, on that road, so you've got congestion there. There is a no U-turn sign on Bradford that nobody really pays attention to, and they're constantly making U-turns there. And with that coming in, those two streets there, I can just foresee more U-turns coming in to Bella Vista Boulevard, turning around in our little thing and then going back out, which then is going to impact the safety of seniors and kids in that park too. So there's a lot of concern there about it. I'm all for the daycare. Don't think I would rather see a daycare there than other things, okay? But I'm concerned about the flow of the traffic and the safety for our residents. I would hate to be living where Greg lives, because that would be annoying. How would you like to have headlights in your house all winter long, all fall when it gets dark? Now, that's not a problem, but that is a consideration, and I think this board should take that into consideration and see if there's something else they can do. The last thing I'd like to mention is the street that's gonna go behind the daycare. It's, from what I understand, it's coming right behind the Bella Vista sign. That's where the 400 feet are, Matt, isn't it? So you've got the Bella Vista entrance sign, and that street is gonna come right there. There are 7 or 8 brand-new townhouses that were just sold by Harts back there that are on a high elevation. And I'm concerned about my neighbors with noise from the cars and from the daycare. Because by the time those shrubs grow to be able to block any noise, it's gonna be a couple of years.
Sorry, Cindy.
Go ahead.
To clarify, the street that you're referencing is on the west side of the building, not behind the building.
It's
So it
on-
would be next to Weber Road.
It's next to Weber, but what about the other one that comes out onto Bradford? Jake, that's what you showed us. Did you change the plan?
So, I know it's kind of hard, I'm gonna block you guys. It's kind of hard to see. with it being black and white. But the curb cut is here, and then it comes down and then immediately bends this way and then goes straight down to the parking lot. So there's actually no road that leads anywhere near
There's nothing
there's
behind,
nothing behind the building.
nothing
All
behind
landscaping, and then there's.
the
a building.
townhouses.
No, so here the townhouses right here. It's
Those are the new
landscaping,
ones.
correct.
Okay.
Landscaping is in here, landscaping behind the building, and then the actual, all the asphalt surface is in this
In
area.
the front part of it, okay.
Yeah.
So that landscaping is gonna help with noise?
Yeah, I mean, this should provide, you know, with a good buffer between the residential and the commercial use, and then also provide, you know, both line of sight screening as well as.
Because
down
these
there.
guys sit higher than any of our
Right.
other townhouses in that subdivision.
See, it's kinda hard to tell, but.
Yeah, they sit up, so, you know, I mean, by the time they get anything, I don't know what you're planting. You're planting big trees. That's a concern I have for my new neighbors.
Right, so what the requirement is typically between here, Jake, correct me if you've reviewed this, but this should be transitional landscaping. So it's actually more than what would be required if this was, say, commercial next to a commercial lot. We actually require that they install more landscaping between a residential development and a commercial development.
Okay.
But,
Alright.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying. I just wanna make sure that you understood there wasn't gonna be any
I thought there
like
was
drive
gonna be
aisle
a
back here,
street
so you
behind
won't have
Bella Vista.
driveway pickups of any traffic or anything like
right.
that. That'll all be.
Because they're gonna have
here.
supplies and food and all that other stuff coming into the.
And I would
daycare.
honestly say that, you know, the more that you get developed here, yes, you're bringing some traffic to the site, but with this being undeveloped, that creates a lot of actually bad traffic habits. So when people come around this corner and there's actually nothing here, they'll speed to the light. But the more this gets developed, just kind of like we had happen here, it actually starts to curb some of those movements. But we've actually been in communication with you guys about the cut through traffic, so they have the temporary license plate reader out there now. So if you've noticed that, I don't know
Oh,
if
yeah.
you've noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're trying to work with you guys as much as we possibly can. There should be no trucks coming through there other than the local delivery, so
Yeah.
we wanna catch who they are and why they're going through there and
And
enforce that
hopefully
as soon
some
as
of the
possible.
speeders, because we do have a blind spot on Bella Vista,
Right.
that curve. And it's just, we're just waiting for something to happen there. It's sad.
I want everyone to just kind of understand that obviously this owner who owns 4 acres of commercial land, which is millions of dollars, at some point, in some way, they do have to have access. And if we can't provide access along Weber, they do have to tap into Bradford. It's just a matter of where, and they're trying to do it as safe as they possibly can. I do understand that's not ideal for you. I wish I had a perfect solution where every car that came out would not affect you in that way, but I do have to get them out onto the street in some fashion. I don't have another solution
And
for them.
Matt, not only does it impact Bradford, even though, and we all know that Bella Vista Boulevard is a public-private street. I mean,
Right.
that's what we call it, it's a public-private
I
street,
understand.
okay? It is gonna impact Bella Vista as well. And because we don't have sidewalks by our clubhouse,
Mm-hmm.
you know our population, most of them are seniors, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the clubhouse is right there, and they make U-turns there now.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to know,
Are you guys with those U-turns, are they like coming here and then going back north, or you don't notice, or?
oh, we did our own study way back when. We stood out there during peak time, I'm talking to the screen, during peak time, okay? From like 6 in the morning to 9. We counted how many cars went on Bella Vista that turned to Weber, that came from the back, that came
what
from
they
the
do,
front.
they
And
head north.
we had a lot, okay? And I wish I would have thought to bring the numbers, okay? To where we even contacted and met with Mayor Claire at the time, with the chief of police, about all of the traffic on the private public road, okay? So we've come to some understanding with the village about maintenance of that road, but it's still private. And we still get a lot of through traffic, and it's peak times. And it happens to be the same time your kids are being dropped off. So, you know, there is a big safety concern here, not only for the kids, but for our seniors in our community and the people that live on Bradford and Taylor and for Bella Vista. And that's what I think is bringing us here, is that concern for traffic and what we can do to improve that situation. We can't get a private street sign up there, okay? We've had semis coming down there, construction trucks coming down now. They have no business on there. So I understand that's being resolved. We are gonna get a 4-ton weight restriction on Bella Vista. And we've got the camera now, okay? The police can't be everywhere. We understand that. So, you know, the camera hopefully can catch some of these violators, and maybe they'll get wind of it and say, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't go down Bella Vista anymore because now they got a speed camera. But there's no guarantee with that. So I don't know what else has been done in other situations like this, but maybe we can tap in and do a little bit more research on that to see if there's something that we're missing. You know, that you guys are missing, or you guys are missing, because Weber is pretty busy.
Because they hit north on Weber, and then to, you know, to go past this light, they come here, turn here, make a U-turn, and then they hit west on Hansard.
Yep.
Just to beat this long, you know, traffic.
Beat the light.
So that's where a lot of U-turns are coming from.
We certainly appreciate your feedback, and I'm
Thank you.
confident our staff has taken that into consideration, and we will continue to do so. Hello, good evening.
Hi.
You sort of tell the truth at this public hearing, sir.
I do.
Please go ahead and
Thank
sign
you.
in, and your name.
My first name is Brian, my second name is Carlton. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Let me sign in and then I'll get to my points. Thank you. Hi, Jake. We spoke on the phone. Thanks for having me. I've got some points that I'd like to speak with, but first of all, I'd like to understand what the process looks like. So I'm very naive to this, so I just want to understand, we have this meeting, then what happens when we are all finished speaking? Do we make a decision tonight? Like, and I'm just not going to speculate. What's the next step and the step after that, please?
Well, the Plan Commission will vote on this project tonight. Once we vote, then it goes, if approved, it goes to the village board for approval.
Okay.
That's the process.
So then once it goes to the village, once you vote, if it's voted approved here, it goes to the village board for approval. What are our rights as community members at the village board? Do we have the opportunity to come and present to the village board, or is this our only opportunity to speak?
No, absolutely. As residents, you're entitled to your opinion and to come up and voice your concerns if you may.
Okay.
Our job as the plan commissioners, we have to, you know, the public has entrusted us to make the right decision, you know, for this town. And your concerns, that's why we're here, to listen to your concerns. And we trust our staff, you know, to do their due diligence, which they always do. They go above and beyond. But sometimes, like Matt, Mr. Eastman, and Mr. Schmidt has voiced their concerns that we have gone above and beyond with this parcel that we have. And we have to have an understanding that when we have a parcel, obviously it's owned by somebody and something's got to go there eventually. And we're trying to keep everybody happy. And with that being said, I think the staff has done a phenomenal job of keeping everybody happy, and also the people that are constructing this project, Primrose Schools, they've gone above and beyond in catering to our requests with the extended landscaping, you know, with the build-outs. You know, normally that would not happen, but they've done that. And why did they do that? To keep, you know, to cater to your concerns. But like I said earlier in my comment, if we put a Taco Bell on that corner and then just shove it down everybody's throat, how's that gonna look?
Yeah, but
Not good.
we can't live life on ifs and hypotheticals, sir.
Yeah, no, it's not a hypothetical situation.
But you said if, and that's a hypothetical.
Well, I'm saying.
But you also know
we
you're
have
not going to put a Taco Bell in a residential community.
We're not going to, but I'm
That's
just
not going to
saying,
happen. So
a
please don't
higher
use.
traffic use.
But please don't use that example. A
Okay.
grocery store, as it was brought up earlier, in a residential community, is an ignorant statement to make, because that isn't something that
It's a
you would even.
commercial use lot.
But that is not something you would approve. So I have a hard time when I hear Taco Bell, grocery store,
We would
things
not,
like that in a
but
residential
They
community.
could also apply for it. and
Sure,
we
but
would
you're not going to
deny it.
approve it. We're not even going to get to this spot
We're not
if they
debating that, sir. All
they
I'm saying is, if they were to apply, we would deny it for your concern.
precisely.
This
So
was
don't
the
even
best-
bring it up.
So this is the best use we have. So
Okay.
please go ahead with your.
Okay. What is your name, sir?
My name is Mir Ali, right here.
Thank you, Mir.
Yes.
Okay. I live at 6 Taylor Court. When I walk out of my driveway to get my mail, I look to the right, and I will see the property that you'd like to develop. First of all, I appreciate you all being here, okay? Mr. Taylor, may I ask, when is the school set to open?
It would be sometime in 2025. I would say probably third or fourth quarter.
Okay, thank you. And then I just want to make sure I wrote this down correctly. You said it takes 8 to 10 minutes for parents to bring their kids in, drop them off, get back to the car, get in their car, and leave. Okay. I'm a parent, so I'm here. If I was not a parent, I would not be here. I will be very transparent and honest with all of you. Do I have any parents here?
All of us.
Okay, you're all parents. Excellent. So grandparent, even better. I love it. So I'm going to appeal to the parental standpoint and the grandparent side of the people that I'm speaking with right now. There are 14 houses on my street. And when you come off Bradford, you take an immediate left onto Taylor. It's 14 houses that live at the back of the cul-de-sac. It was mentioned, Cindy brought up the park. There's going to be a park less than 100 yards from the out to get onto Bradford. Cindy also brought up the point that there is no parking at our park, so people park on the roads, okay? On Taylor Court, just the street I live on, at 10 Taylor Court, Jerry, my neighbor across the street, has 2 kids, junior high kid, 2nd grader, go to the park all the time. 13 Taylor Court, right next to Chris and George, 2 kids, age 5 and 3, I believe. They go to the park every day. 9 Taylor Court, Walter and Judy, built their house in 1992. First house in our cul-de-sac. First house on that street. That's when Weber Road was 2 lanes, cornfields as far as you could see. We don't have that anymore. We have absurd traffic, noise violations every night. Walter and Judy have 5 grandkids. They were contemplating moving. They decided not to move. This is their home. They've been here for 32 years. They were going to make Bolingbrook their retirement community. Their grandkids come over. They put in an amazing pool in their backyard. The grandkids come over every day in the summertime. They swim in their pool. They go to our park. 7 Taylor Court, my next door neighbor. I've been at my house for 15 years. My next door neighbor moved at the end of February. I have new neighbors. Seem like great people. They moved here from the city. I asked them, why did you move to Bolingbrook? We were ready to start a family and settle down. Our community is growing. Our community wants great people. We want great people in our community. At my house, I have a 7.5-year-old. We take Wesley to the park